From the studios of the Republic Media Network, you're watching Arnab Goswami live on The Debate.
Arnab Goswami on The Debate at 9. Presented by Amity University. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Century Ply, Serra and TVS Euro Grip.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. It's great to see you tonight. Now, Pegasus has flopped. We all know it. And Pegasus has flopped not because of the Republic Media Network. Pegasus has flopped because it has failed on one simple front: the complete absence of concrete evidence. No concrete evidence. There is not one bit of concrete evidence that the phones were hacked. Not one conclusive, concrete bit of evidence, viewers. In fact, the editors of the publications who made the tall claims are slowly, if you notice, beginning to pull back. One in the USA says in Washington that, quote, the purpose of the list could not be conclusively determined, unquote, which means we can't prove anything. One Middle Eastern channel that lives off the post-retirement BBC crowd now says that in fact the phones only appear to have been possibly hacked, which means again they admit they have no conclusive proof, and others are simply washing their hands of any legal responsibility for the big claims, saying that they just went on and simply published whatever Amnesty International threw at them. Now, as they say in business, never do a great advertising campaign for a mediocre product. In this case, the product, the so-called revelations, are not just mediocre. They are somewhere between a hoax and a false claim. We were all promised on Saturday 10 days of explosive revelations. They said 10 days non-stop revelations, biggest expose. Where are those revelations tonight? Where are they tonight? In 2 days, the lobby has fired all its shots, and having realized it's going nowhere, is back to the same one trick pony act. Fear and suspicion, making people suspicious. Now let's step back a little, viewers. What happened during CAA? The same groups said that Muslims in India, they said every Muslim in India will lose his or her citizenship. Not one Muslim, the fact is, not one Muslim in India has lost their citizenship. Yet by simply raising fear and suspicion, they ensured that the country was disrupted, that 54 people died in Delhi. Remember, they died because of fear and suspicion. Fear and suspicion. When 370 was removed, the same group said, democracy is now over. Kashmiris will be massacred and butchered by the thousands, and elections will never happen in Kashmir again. What is the situation today, viewers? What is the situation today? Kashmir is more peaceful than ever. Elections are just around the corner. There's been a big all-party meeting, and the lobby that played on suspicion is silent. But remember, viewers, and don't forget this, remember, they played on fear and suspicion. Fear and suspicion. And what happened during the farmers' protest? They said that now millions of farmers across India will starve. They said that, and many of you then possibly believed it. Using the Greta Thunberg toolkit, they backed the groups that took the Khalistani flag to the Red Fort and cheered them on when they were doing that. And now that the farmers have rejected the whole plot, now that even Sharad Pawar has changed his line on this, the lobby is looking for a new cause in Pegasus, a new cause. But never forget, viewers, never forget, our Red Fort was desecrated because of fear and suspicion, just fear and suspicion, constantly. And that now brings me to Pegasus. Amnesty International, whose support for anti-India causes is very well known, is the author of this report. They are the authors of this report. The whole lobby hates me tonight and hates the Republic Media Network tonight for emphasizing repeatedly, and I must say I have done so deliberately, on the role of Amnesty and Amnesty International. But can they contradict me? Can they contradict the fact that the entire edifice of what is being published, the entire quote-unquote technical and forensic work behind the so-called Pegasus expose was not done by any journalist? Where is the journalism? Which one of those 17 organizations put its own reporters and investigative teams to do the journalism? Not one. There was no journalism. The work was not done by any journalist. It was done by Amnesty International and a wing of Amnesty International. What does this mean? This means, viewers, that only and only and only if you believe and blindly trust Amnesty International can you in turn trust the Pegasus report. And I want to ask you tonight, how many of you trust Amnesty International? Whether you do or don't, the central question that I'm putting to you tonight is, can you divorce the credibility or lack of credibility of the author of the report from what is published in the report? And who is the author of this report? The author of this report is Amnesty International, viewers. And viewers, right now you can call any journalist, you can call any organization that has published the report and ask them this. Ask them that the claim being made on Republic is that the edifice of this report, the journalism of this report has been done by Amnesty and an NGO based in Paris, who Amnesty has worked it with, called Forbidden Stories. They have simply published whatever Amnesty has therefore given them and whatever Amnesty and their partners have given them. Anyone you ask will have to admit that this is true. And then comes the critical question. If this is the case, and that brings me to the moot point tonight, viewers. If this is the case, then I want you to calmly consider tonight what the agenda is. And I have a few questions for you tonight. A few straight questions. Question number one, viewers. What, therefore, is the link between CAA, anti-370 violence, anti-CAA violence, the desecration of the Red Fort by some Khalistanis, the Delhi riots that killed 54, the brutal killing of intelligence officer Ankit Sharma in Delhi, and the Pegasus hoax? What is the link between all of these, viewers? And my second question tonight is, why are the same players, the same names, the same groups behind each of these individual episodes? Accident, coincidence, or very well planned at an international level? Question number three tonight. Is it not true? Is it not true that a section of the media, many of whom have no established revenue model, no real sources of income, who live on all kinds of strange donations, strange handouts, and questionable foreign investment, put at incredible valuations by various global parties, that the same media organizations have worked in tandem to create an atmosphere of fear and suspicion in your minds again and again and again for many years now. And therefore, I say tonight, viewers, fear and suspicion will damage India. it will do our future generations no good. Democracy is our strength. Our enemies want to exploit the weaknesses of democracy. Our enemies know that creating fear and suspicion in India by manipulating the minds of people using a section of the media is possibly a good tactic to weaken our country. Fear and suspicion, viewers, will only hurt our national interest. We, you, me, and all of us viewers, all of us tonight need to simply be aware of this fact. Be aware of it and keep our minds open and keep this fact in our minds when they attack us again. Because 370 was not the last, CAA was not the last, Shaheen Bagh was not the last, Khalistanis during the farmers' protest was not the last, and Pegasus will not be the last attack that these groups do to damage our country and our prospects. Ladies and gentlemen, debate number 1 tonight is simple. If Pegasus has flopped, why punish Parliament? If Pegasus has flopped, why punish Parliament? Debate number 2 tonight at 10 o'clock this evening. Bollywood silent on the pornography racket in which Raj Kundra has been caught. Debate number 3 tonight. Lobby also silent on the Kerala government stance which required the Supreme Court's intervention. All this and more is coming up, and here are the headlines. This Tuesday evening on the debate tonight. After Pegasus flops, the opposition decides to punish Parliament. Hush, 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 as Shilpa Shetty's husband Raj Kundra is caught in a pornography racket. Police say models were lured and misled, but surprise, surprise, Bollywood A-listers don't say a word. The Supreme Court comes down hard on the Kerala government for giving in to demands for lockdown relaxation in the name of Bakarid. And in a sharp and factful reality check, Union Minister Hardeep Puri shows the opposition the mirror on the vaccination drive and COVID numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, Parliament is open, but it opened, the opposition wants it shut. Pegasus has flopped. They say we will not let Parliament function till the government gives in. Here's what happened in Parliament, and then we debate.
After Pegasus flopped and turned out to be nothing but hollow hypotheses, the opposition has resorted to punishing the Parliament during the key monsoon session. These are the visuals of the ruckus created in the Lok Sabha today, which had to be adjourned till the 22nd of July.
दिनांक 22 जुलाई 2021 को प्रातः 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है.
Now, look at these visuals of the uproar created in the Rajya Sabha to hold the Parliament to ransom. There is a brazen attempt to punish the Parliament for the Pegasus flop show. In no discreet terms, the TMC says it simply won't let Parliament run.
The issue is so important that the All India Trinamool Congress will not allow Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha to run at all till the government comes and has an open discussion on this. Today was the exception because we know that this government tries to do politics with COVID. There's no use to discuss. We don't want any discussion on farmers. Repeal the farm laws and tomorrow discuss Pegasus. Otherwise, All India Trinamool Congress position is no more Parliament till August 13th.
The Congress has decided to skip the all-party meet held by the Prime Minister.
हमारे सारे जो मतलब लाइक माइंडेड पार्टी है उनको बुलाए गए हैं, हम सब मिलकर तय करेंगे. विरोध तो करना चाहिए. इस तरीके की अगर खुफियातन देश में बहाल हो तो सबके लिए मुश्किल है. इस तरीके जासूसी की इस्तेमाल किया जाते थे. अभी तो ये हो रहा है. ये तो नए हिंदुस्तान बनाने की ये नया रणनीति है.
सरकार के मंत्री जो असलियत है वो सामने हमारे मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट को नहीं बताना चाहते और देश की जनता को नहीं बताना चाहते। अब तो सबसे पहले तो इस देश के मंत्री महोदय और देश के गृह मंत्री को बताना चाहिए और ये बताना चाहिए कि हमने कभी इसका इस्तेमाल नहीं किया। ये तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, इस बात का उन्होंने इनकार नहीं किया। तो अगर इनकार नहीं किया और देश का इस्तेमाल नहीं किया तो किसने इस्तेमाल किया? ये तो बहुत ही बड़ी फिर हमारे सामने एक समस्या खड़ी हो गई कि सरकार ने इस्तेमाल नहीं किया, सरकार की एजेंसी ने इस्तेमाल नहीं किया और एनएसओ टेक्नोलॉजीज कहती है कि वो न किसी को बेचते नहीं है, केवल सरकारों को बेचते हैं, तो किसी प्राइवेट सेक्टर को तो बेच नहीं सकते। तो सच्चाई सामने आनी चाहिए।
The Samajwadi Party is pitching in with an attempt to derail the monsoon session.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार को जासूसी नहीं करानी चाहिए थी। जब जनता ने उन पर भरोसा किया, दिल्ली में बहुमत की सरकार बनी, उत्तर प्रदेश में इतने बड़े पैमाने पे, वो भी आप किसी व्यक्ति के, चाहे वो अधिकारी हों, राजनेता हों, पत्रकार हों, उनके फोन रिकॉर्डिंग कर लेना। आखिरकार क्या सरकार जानना चाहती है? जब सरकार खुद इतनी ताकतवर है, फोन रिकॉर्ड कर करके आखिरकार सरकार क्या जानना चाहती है? इसका जवाब तो देना ही चाहिए। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अगर कराया है तो ये दंडनीय अपराध है।
All this despite the facts being brought on record and despite this message by the Prime Minister on Monday.
इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि संसद में भी इस पैंडेमिक के संबंध में सार्थक चर्चा हो, प्राथमिकता देते हुए इसकी चर्चा हो और सारे व्यवहारू सुझाव सभी माननीय सांसदों से मिले ताकि पैंडेमिक के खिलाफ लड़ाई में बहुत नयापन भी आ सकता है, कुछ कमियां रह गई हो तो उसको भी ठीक किया जा सकता है और इस लड़ाई में सब साथ मिलकर के आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
Happening as it is amidst an ongoing pandemic, the monsoon session of Parliament is very important, particularly from the productivity point of view. The opposition must remember that every day lost, like the first two, means that much less productivity in the 19-day session that began on July 19th and ends on August 13th.
Can Amnesty's planted Pegasus report be the reason our Parliament is held hostage at a time when 38 crucial bills are pending in Parliament that impact the lives of over 1 billion Indians directly? Can a desperate overplay of damn squib Pegasus be used to obstruct the first and foremost task of the elected legislators to legislate for the benefit of the people? Or is it time the opposition gets to work and lets the Parliament run? Let's debate.
Professor Om Prakash Mishra of the Trinamool Congress is opening the debate with Gaurav Bhatia of the BJP, Ajay Alok, M.R. Venkatesh, Saurabh Shukla, Abhishek Sudhir, Abdul Razak Khan and Sudhindra Badoria completing our panel tonight. Professor Om Prakash Mishra, I can understand you are desperate, you need to do something, but why punish Parliament if Pegasus has flopped? Why punish Parliament if Pegasus has flopped? If Amnesty International could not provide you a good report, you must call Amnesty and ask them, please speak to Amnesty International. They are the authors of the report. Speak to them, solve your internal issues. Whatever problems you are having, they have given you a flop report. You must call Amnesty, protest with them, raise an issue with them. But why punish Parliament if Pegasus flopped?
Arnab, thank you very much for bringing me into the debate early on. Well, actually, I know you are very hardworking, all your colleagues are very hardworking, and of course you have to do a whole lot of overtime in order to save the government. You have already decided on that what actually is all this is about. And you have come with the conclusion that this entire report is bogus, etc., etc. So that might be a very age-old policy. Offense is the best defense. Government has been caught lying, and so therefore there is simply no respite that the government is going to get unless and until government of the day decides to investigate. And they have to investigate. The BJP apologies, BJP leaders, they themselves are saying that all this is a conspiracy. And if it is a conspiracy, is not it necessary for the government of the day to go for investigation?
I have a follow-up question for you. It is always a pleasure.
And that government is not willing to.
I have a follow-up
government is not willing to investigate.
I have a follow-up question for you, sir.
Why the government?
Sir, I have a follow-up question for you, Professor Mishra. Professor Mishra, I continue to ask you tonight. I continue to ask you tonight with my second question. My second question, which goes to fantastic. Now, just one question. Just a clarification. Just a clarification.
Opposition is spot on, and we are going to keep on hammering the point that the government has been directly responsible for all this.
You want to respond right at the start? Okay, Gaurav. Okay, Gaurav's responding. Let's keep the debate moving fast at the start here.
Let me just address the Pegasus issue first, and then we'll come to the functioning of the Parliament. Mr. Mishra, I am making a very responsible statement on Republic that once on the floor of the House, the IT Minister has made it very clear that there has been no illegal tapping of phones. If you really wish to expose the government and say you are right, which you are not, because you people are always irresponsible, destructive, anarchist, but say if you are right, where would you expose the government? On the floor of the House, Mr. Mishra. The problem here is that you people come forward, Arnab, and they say Rahul Gandhi, as well as their other members who've been snooped upon. I'm giving you unsolicited free advice. If violation of a fundamental right happens, with all the proof, evidence, everything you have to contradict the stand of the government, move the High Court and the Supreme Court. Expose the government. The court will look into the evidence and then decide. But they will not do that, Arnab. The reason is very simple. Because the report that they are relying on, the wire, the report itself says data. Can I respond, sir? I did not interrupt you. Extend me the same courtesy. I know you are getting exposed. But allow me to complete myself. The report says data is indicative, not conclusive. And possible surveillance attempt. By whom? Possible surveillance attempt. So the only person who can come forward and allege that there is a violation of a fundamental right, as we know, right to privacy is a fundamental right, is Rahul Gandhi. Second, on the functioning of the Parliament. Please, on the functioning of the Parliament.
No. Gaurav, 1 minute.
Yes.
Gaurav, I want to stay on the authenticity aspect. Sorry for intervening. I want to stay on the point of authenticity of the report. And I'll come to every issue. 1 minute. Allow me. Question being tonight, Sudhindra Badoria is on the debate. Now feel free to come in with Ajay Alok. See, Sudhindra Badoria, I must tell you something here. You are aware, are you not, that this report has not been done by any journalist? This report, I repeat, is not a report of any journalist. There has been no journalist or journalistic work done behind it, which means that there is no reporter of any organization who has done this report themselves. This is what we call, in journalistic terms, Ajay Alok, Saurabh knows, this is what we call a handout. In journalism, we look down upon things like this. When somebody just gives you a piece of paper and say, yeah, go publish it, right? It's called a handout. Second question is, who's given the handout? Saurabh, it's Amnesty International. Amnesty International and a Paris-based NGO have come together and given the handout. So please tell me, Sudhindra Badoria, you believe Amnesty International? You believe them, and you are allowing Amnesty to block Parliament?
Well, it is not the question of whether it is Amnesty International or any other organization.
No, it is a relevant question.
But this news has rocked the country and also brought...
1 minute. Who has done the investigation?
Well,
I'm asking you, sir, Mr. Badoria, who has done the investigation?
Can I come in, Arnab?
Some parallels in history. If you recall,
no, sir,
when you...
1 minute. 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Who has done the investigation? Please tell me which journalist has done the investigation. Tell me. Tell me.
That is drawing a parallel. When Chandrasekhar was the Prime Minister of this country, there was a charge made by the then Congress Party, Rajiv Gandhi, that he was being snooped.
Did Amnesty International report that? Sorry, if Amnesty International would have said, I'm sorry, I must, if Amnesty or Greenpeace come together and would have said this, that Rajiv Gandhi or Chandrasekhar was bugging Rajiv Gandhi at his house, if Amnesty International would have said it, you'd be laughing about it. I must focus on this. No, my dear Mr. Bhadoria. Sorry, I must, because your audio, I'll let you complete. Your audio is back. I'm going to dial you back. Saurabh is back on the debate. I'm going to open it up. Saurabh and Abhishek Sudhir are on the debate. We are on a fundamental point. Who's the author of this report?
Arnab, I have a fundamental question. Government and opposition both have a role to play in any vibrant democracy. If there is any issue that the opposition has, they should ask for a debate. They cannot be disrupting Parliament like this. You are stalling 38 bills, 1.2 billion people.
This is not the first time there have been disruptions in Parliament.
These bills to be paid.
Tell us, is the Narendra Modi government a client of Pegasus or not? Give us a clear answer.
Don't make a mockery by disrupting Parliament like this. There is a podium for debate. There is always a scope for debate. But there are bigger pressing issues this country is facing.
A question
we are in the
goes,
midst
Abhishek,
of COVID.
Abhishek,
there are other issues that the country is facing.
Abhishek,
you ask the government.
Abhishek, can I follow up on that? And can I bring in Ajay Alok on this? No. Can I bring in Ajay Alok on this?
They have not elected you for this. Even your constituents want you to raise issues that matter to people. People of India
the argument is being put tonight, MR, and you can debate this at length with Abhishek Sudhir. Ajay, I'm just coming to you. Argument being put tonight is government must explain whether or not it used Pegasus. Now, to that, my counter is simple. If the government has used Pegasus as an instrument to gather intelligence, to defend India's national or internal security, national interest and internal security, it has every right to do so. Tell me one thing, Abhishek Sudhir, 1 minute. I am very curious about one thing. Abhishek, I want to complete my question here. So can I complete my point? Can I complete my point and then you come in?
Can I complete?
No. I want to complete. No. You will. No.
A client of Pegasus. Is the government a client of Pegasus? Is the government a client of Pegasus?
Okay, so here's you ask the question thrice. Can I ask one counter question in turn? I hand it over to MR Venkatesh. If the Narendra Modi is a client of Pegasus.
Please answer. Why counter question?
No, 1 second. Listen. No, 1 second.
Arnab, you are a
listen, Abhishek, pull back. Abhishek, listen to me. I'm not tied with any security agencies. Watch your words. But I'm responding to you. Anybody with an elementary sense of national or international security will realize that every sovereign country's intelligence agencies do snoop, and I must repeat, legitimately snoop in the defense of the country's national interest. And by the way, the greatest snooper in that sense, the greatest snooper is the United States of America. The USA, the USA, which you say is a very liberal democracy. 1 minute, Abhishek, no, Abhishek, 1 minute. The USA does the most snooping in defense of its national interest. Please, does Amnesty say one word against the US? Not one word. Does Amnesty say one word against MI5? MI5, the British government gives Amnesty money. The British government
does the British to snoop on our daughters, our sisters, our wives, our mothers? Do you want security agencies?
You want to give a hyperbolic, foolish argument?
When they're in the
That's an asinine argument. Asinine argument. You want your government. 1 minute. I want my government to have every technology available, like the US does, like Israel does, in the defense of its internal security. You, on the contrary, want our government to be weaker vis-a-vis these forces. You want our country not to be equipped to deal with Maoist terrorists, with the Jaish-e-Mohammed, and hence you are the believers in the Gujarat doctrine. People like you would say, that you do not need an external or internal intelligence agency. You have just contradicted your argument and you're on the debate with MR Venkateshna.
Arnab, I think you have taken a very categorical stand, and congratulations to you. Sir, 1 minute. Sir, 1 minute.
Why are you snooping on
Sir, 1 minute, sir. Listen to me, sir. Let me congratulate Arnab Goswami for a very clear stand. I think even the BJP spokespersons have not taken this stand. When it comes to the national security, the national government must take all it takes to defend the security and unity and integrity of this country. No two opinions about it. Whether Pegasus did it, whether it was hired by the government, now you are believing in some unprofessional work by a ragtag group. I would only say, please go ahead, ask them whether Narendra Modi government employed them or not. You are believing everything, and they themselves are not sure who has hired them. They just shooted and scooted, and you are believing those reports. Shame on you guys, and you have stalled the parliament when the parliament is meeting amidst a pandemic. You are not here to just do this shoot and scoot business. Please go to the floor of the house. Please go to the floor of the house. Please go and take the government to task. Show them the documents. Take them to cleaners. You are entitled to. But what you are doing, you are believing in some tamasha. And remember, this group of people who have put on a report have got an ED investigation against them in this country. Please understand that. They have got a vested interest in blocking it. And they waited till the parliament opened. They came out with all this report. And what is there in the report? There is hardly anything that can be substantiated in any court of law. There is hardly anything that you can debate.
Sir, this is not the first time there have been disruptions in parliament. The parliament functioned 46%.
But we should also understand.
My position is clear. My position is. All right. Razak and Ajay
It is a united opposition. It is not one opposition party asking the government for an inquiry. It is the united opposition which wants a JPC. Let there be a joint parliamentary probe.
Mr. Razak, I have a question for you. Mr. Razak, I have a question for you. Mr. Razak, I have a question. Mr. Razak, I have a question for you. Thank you. No, Mr. Razak, don't repeat yourself. I heard you now. Now I have a question for you. Otherwise, I'll move on. No, thank you. I won't move on. Thank you. I have an elementary question for you. I love the emotional attachment to amnesty. I just love it. Today, when Amnesty International, by the way, an organization whose members allegedly allied themselves with the Taliban, you think that organization should hold my parliament hostage? The British Parliament and the British government funds Amnesty. The British left this country in 1947. Why should the British, in other words, the British, 1 minute, Mr. Razak, when I'm speaking, don't speak over me. Why should the British hold my country hostage? These are the people who emboldened the urban Naxals. Did Amnesty not jump to the defense of the urban Naxals? Did they not attack the government for taking on the Maoist terrorists? Why should I not believe that these groups have fabricated a report? What do you mean? Did there be a probe? There will be a probe when a credible organization brings out a report. Amnesty is not a credible organization. Maybe it is for you. It's not for me. Ajay Alok is on the debate. Ajay Alok is on the debate. I'm not dismissing. I don't believe Amnesty.
But the truth came out. There was corruption. I will just take 30 seconds and we can... corruption in Rafale deal. You dismiss similarly.
Okay, can I speak, Razak?
There is truth in this.
Razak, can I speak? Inquiry. I don't want to speak over you.
Why is the government shying away? Today you are saying that you are disruptors. Okay. You don't
want
taken.
You have made your point, and now let me comment.
Think for yourself how much you
have made your point, sir.
How much
you have made your point.
Only for fuel prices you are out
you have made your point.
Having a cylinder on your head.
You disrupt unless there's an inquiry. You have made your point. Fine. Now please listen to others.
Can I switch, please? Mr. Mishra and Ajay Alok, thank you.
Please listen. Yeah, I just want... You guys are not hitting the nail. The problem is we are all going around the bush. First of all, what is Amnesty International? It's not a human rights organization. It's a radical right protection organization. We all know this in India. And everyone in the panel knows that what happened in 2016 in Bangalore, when anti-India slogans were raised, when pro-Kashmir slogans were raised, and Amnesty was organizing it. Congress government lodged the case first day, the police officer was sacked next day, and the case was taken away. This is the relation of Amnesty International and the Congress party. And there was an uproar in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, in which all TMC and Bahujan Samaj Party, they kept quiet and they kept criticizing Amnesty. And today they are believing Amnesty International. This is the hypocrisy. That's why I said, you guys are not biting. Please bite. What is the relation? How come the parliament opens up and this comes with the story? And we are believing forbidden stories by an NGO in France and Amnesty International. That yes, there is some spying going on by the government. And that's why we'll disrupt the parliament when there are so many pending issues. Rahul Gandhi, Congress Party, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, they were all kept crying. किसानों का क्या होगा, किसान आंदोलन का क्या होगा, कोरोना डिस्कस पार्लियामेंट में, you guys run away. कोरोना का क्या होगा, वैक्सीन कब मिलेगी, बच्चों की वैक्सीन कब आएगी प्रधानमंत्री जी? Why that man is not showing up in the parliament now? Because this is all a concocted story, because you guys want to run from the parliament. You don't want to face parliament because you will be exposed on everything. What you did to try to disrupt the country during the whole corona regime for the last 1 year.
No, what do they...
Calling vaccine as a BJP vaccine, doing every wrong thing this country never expected you to do. And today you're supporting amnesty. Like what you did in
before you respond there, Professor, before you respond there, please listen to me tonight. Listen to me, Abhishek, Sudhir. Listen to me. Amnesty is anti-India. 1 minute. Just understand. Amnesty is anti-India. Point number 1. Point number 2, even Papua New Guinea will be using some form of intelligence gathering for its own national security. You expect one of the world's largest countries, India, to not have any surveillance over terrorist and anti-national groups at one point.
Compromise.
Now you again, I'll have to give you a lesson.
Pegasus or not, I come back to that.
Again, I'll have to give you a lesson.
Why are you afraid?
Again, I'll have to give you a lesson.
Tell us you're using Pegasus or not.
No, just a minute. Abhishek, 1 minute. Abhishek, don't be needlessly dramatic. I understood your point. I've given you a simple answer. I'm saying if the government uses Pegasus or Pegasus Square or Pegasus Square 10 times, I would be very happy if my country is using Pegasus to defend its internal security and national security interests. Every country does, including your glorious United States of America. Now I want to ask you. No. First of all, you have failed. Not everyone. You have failed. Okay, so you have failed to prove. Tell me one thing. I ask a simple counter tonight, and Gaurav can debate this further. In this entire report, there is not one case which is proven substantially or concretely. Everything is in the range of possibility. You have to. You have to. No. There is. You must look at the ifs and buts even in the Prashant Kishore report. You must look at the ifs and buts there. Abhishek, why are you speaking over me? Why are you getting so desperate? Listen, why are you shouting? Why are you shouting? Who did the? Okay, so here's a question, Abhishek. Now, if you don't want to, I'll have to take you off air if you don't listen. But as a simple question here, don't be excited. Point here is just 1 minute, Gaurav. Let 1 minute, Gaurav. 1 minute, Gaurav. Sudhir, without being too excitable, simply answer a question. Even in the case of Prashant Kishore, can you name the organization which has done the forensic analysis and technical support work for examination of the phone? Is it or is it not Amnesty?
I see. My friend,
I see.
If a consortium of
that's the point. It is Amnesty. Amnesty is not a journalistic organization. Are you out of your mind?
You are a journalist.
Is Amnesty a journalistic organization? Is Greenpeace a newspaper? Is Greenpece a newspaper? You're out of your mind. Now, Abhishek, listen. Abhishek, I'll tell you. I'll tell you one thing. If you are unable, I'll tell you. Just 1 minute, please. Can I please not? Abhishek, don't listen. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Can this be reduced, please? Thank you. I'll tell you one thing, see, Abhishek. Fact of the matter is, today the question is being asked by everyone. Pegasus has been unable to prove its facts. Amnesty has gone with its tail between its legs. The Welfare of Senior Citizens Act is pending. It's a big matter. Let's bring the focus on the real issue. You know, you have an unsubstantiated hoax flop report, and you have on the other side the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Bill, pending since 2019. I'll open the phone lines tonight. Let us see. The one way, I'm not debating only with you. The question is, Professor is on. Professor is on. Professor is on. Professor, simple question. Yeah, now this is disturbing me. I'm telling the director that when I need to, now, okay. Now, Sudhir, 1 minute. Sudhir, I'll tell you. I know you're a new panelist. My only question is, I'm speaking to the Trinamool member of Parliament. My question is, the Juvenile Justice Act is stalled?
I have
It's
already
okay
heard
for
your
you?
question. Let me now respond.
It's okay? Is it all right?
Now let me
Just because of
respond.
amnesty?
Thank you very much, Arnab.
Just because of amnesty, we should have the universal pension?
In fact,
No.
you have received the... I'm coming to amnesty. You have received the very good compliment from the BJP spokesperson, saying that you have spoken much better than a BJP spokesperson. So
1 minute, Mr.
Secondly,
No, 1 minute. See, the problem with you is, the problem, no, don't go to a second, because now, no, 1 minute. I am going to respond to you and respond to you hard. Professor, you chill out. You chill out, I am responding to you. No, 1 minute. See, Professor, I can tell you, I can call you a turncoat.
Why should you be responding?
I can call you names, but I will still restrict myself to the subject of the debate. My point is, no, I will allow you if you are on the debate. My question is, having... No, Professor, wait a minute. Take a question. I am on one simple point. Name one concrete case. The question is tonight to you. Professor, the question is to you. Name one concrete case. Let us not go by hearsay, possibility, ifs, buts, perhaps, maybe, cannot confirm, inconclusive. Name one specific case in this entire report. Question number one. Second, is the report authored by Amnesty or not?
Arnab,
Simple. Answer the question. We'll move on.
Agency is involved in the Snoopgate.
Yes.
Arnab,
I
it is
will
very
answer
clear
your
that
question.
agency
Please don't interrupt me in between. Otherwise, I
The
don't
question was to Professor Mishra.
any point in participating in the debate at all.
The question
Government of
was to
India
you, sir,
itself
is the...
admitting. And here, Mr.
one second.
Arnab Goswami is seconding it. Mr. Arnab Goswami is seconding it. Israeli organization, they have said that this technology, this destructive technology is available only to the sovereign government. And government of India has availed this, and to the extent that they availed it in the name of fighting the terrorism, but then they have been manipulating political events, political development, building a political narrative, targeting the journalists, targeting
Professor,
anyone
Professor,
who possibly might be critical about
Professor, 1 point. Professor, 1 point. Professor, just 1 minute. Don't repeat. Just 1 minute. Because the point was to me. The point was to me. You have not done your research well. I'll tell you a fact. Professor, listen to me now. Now you must listen to me, Professor. I have no problems in educating you. I have no problems, but you'll have to listen while I'm educating you. I'll have to. No, 1 second. I'll have to educate you. Okay, good. Now, just a minute. I'll add 1 point. NSO has said. You're not researching properly. Now I'll just if your volume can be reduced for a minute, I'll tell you a point. NSO has said very clearly that all this so-called list, first of all, is a hoax list, which is available from HRR lookup, which is an open and free source. It is not an NSO list. But there you are not willing to listen. My question repeat. Now, Professor Mishra, listen. I am not responsible if Amnesty let you down.
Arnab, I need to respond to them, and I hope they will hear us out as well.
I have access at least
No, there are
17
two
report by
things that I want to say.
Taliban by
Both
the
of them,
Amnesty
they
International
make
against
some
Taliban.
sense to them
So that
if
is
they
a
hear
fact,
me out.
matter of fact. They are writing against
Mr. Mishra,
everyone.
can I also
That does
make
not
my
mean
point?
then they are the
It
villain.
doesn't
Why
take
you are
4 minutes
thinking,
to
why you are
place an
focusing so
effective
narrow?
point.
Why you are bringing
Arnab,
in only
please
the
allow
Amnesty
me and please
International?
ask him to be
Why you are
quiet.
not
I've been
bringing the
requesting.
why you are
He
not
doesn't
bringing the
have faith in his
opposition
own
party?
questions
Why
and
you are
remarks.
not interested to name
Okay,
all
I
the
heard you,
journalists?
sir.
You tell
Please
me how
listen to me.
come
I have zero faith. I have zero faith in an amnesty report. I'll tell you again and again. I'll tell you again and again. Professor Mishra, not just me, nobody in the country trusts Amnesty's report.
Is going to be raised on the streets of Bengal.
No, nobody in the country raises. The more you raise it, the more you are damaging your own credibility.
Government of India has to be
Arnab, this is unfair.
They have
Believe
actually
me,
to answer.
it's not
Government is
very fair.
accountable.
You
Why
know,
government
he'll
is not
continue to
accepting
rant
that
without
they have
any
been the
fact
buyer?
basis.
They are the one who actually bought it,
Come
and
on,
they have
Arnab,
been trying
please.
to manipulate the political process. That is the reality. And the opposition is spot on. That much I say. And I will compliment you because you have accepted
now,
the opposition
sir, I think
position.
the viewers
but
also
the government
want to
of India
listen
has
to us.
been behind this, actually.
If you are not effective, you can't make your points in 5 minutes. We can't help it.
Yeah, you go on.
So listen to us now. Please. Let's not quarrel. So, Arnab, there are two points to be made.
On.
First of all, Amnesty India. Arnab, you would recollect that their accounts were frozen by this very government. Second, they shut their operations in India and...
No, let me ask you a question. Gaurav, I'll have to intervene here. Gaurav, I'll ask you a question. I have a different question to ask. Why, if you have used Pegasus for internal security or defending national interest,
yes,
say so.
Can I
what is there to be defensive about it?
I wanted to come
No. Why don't you say so? What are you defensive about?
Give me 1 minute. 1 minute uninterrupted, and I will answer that. Okay, Arnab, I think it's not only about Pegasus. Say India has 5 such softwares which can beat the terrorists and all the countries that are trying to weaken us. And say the government decides to procure them and use them. And if we have Pegasus and other softwares, and we disclose it, and the terrorists benefit and they become better prepared, it's still not good for the country. Say if we don't have it, and the terrorists and anti-India elements...
The former member of the Election Commission is a terrorist, is it?
Please,
you're using this to target terrorists.
Proper.
Are you all joking? Is Prashant Kishore a terrorist?
Arnab, please. I said
is Prashant Kishore a terrorist? Prashant Kishore got Narendra Modi elected. Is he a terrorist?
You know, if this is the way, if you are talking about sisters and mothers, let me tell you in your language then. There are sisters and mothers. But if you think Ishwar Jha kind of ladies are your mothers and sisters who would work against the country, then they need to be stooped upon. Okay? And don't interrupt me. I heard your nonsense for good 5 minutes.
There was a time
Please, no, I don't need your sorry.
There was a time when you were with the Samajwadi Party. Today, do you want to call us terrorists? Do you want to call us anti-nationals? Are we some lobby that is with Amnesty International? Don't we love this country? Just because we don't support the rule and dispensation, we are traitors.
Please, Arnab, I have only one thing to say. I'll give you another example.
Before you proceed, Gaurav, I want a call of hands. Before you proceed, I want a call of hands. Just 1 minute, which will really settle the debate. Viewers, I request at this point of time, 9:47 p.m., for anyone on the panel who trusts Amnesty International to raise their hands. Since this is an amnesty report, I request anyone on the panel who trusts Amnesty International to raise their hands. Okay, Abdul Razak trusts Amnesty International. Who else?
More than the government.
Who else trusts Amnesty International? One person. One person.
Okay, now can I quickly...
No. If you trust, raise your hand.
Any dissent is not anti-nationalism.
So then brings me to a fundamental part of the question. You don't trust the author of the report. You don't trust the author of the report, but you support the report. This is incredible. I've never seen a case like this. Gaurav Bhatia is back on the debate. Thank you.
Yes.
Gaurav Bhatia, ask you again a second time. I ask you a second time. Why don't you... No, watch it. Abdul Razak, 1 minute. Abdul Razak, hold back. 1 second. Gaurav Bhatia, my question to you is simple. Why don't you say so? If you have used Pegasus
to defend national security and internal security, to snoop on possible terrorists, urban Naxals, Maoist terrorists or their supporters. You say so. You say so.
Okay, Arnab,
make it absolutely clear. Why don't you say so?
I will answer that, and just give me 1 minute of uninterrupted time. First of all, which is the right place to let everyone know? It is the floor of the House. It is for the government to decide. I am not a government spokesperson. Second, I will tell you, sometimes certain things are not to be disclosed in national interest. Like Rafael also, Arnab, do you recollect these very people wanted to know the exact weaponry of Rafael? Why should we disclose? Arey, you be quiet, bhai. What is the problem with you? Jagga Jasoos ke bhai ho aap. Jagga Jasoos. Congress party was doing jasusi of everyone. They didn't even leave their own finance minister. Home Minister P. Chidambaram was snooping on the finance minister P.
Abhishek
coming here and talking about all this. Give me a proof. What proof do you have? Rahul Gandhi to go to the court if you believe that there is an iota of evidence.
On terrorist
organizations,
but not on your political opponents. The nation understands that you use all the cheap tricks to win.
Saurabh Shukla.
This government is very conscious. He will do everything that is
well.
Needs to be an inquiry.
Well. I have run over time. I'll only say one thing at the end, and I will have to say one thing at the end. Some people should take a long, hard look at the mirror. Remember, viewers, the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had defended his government's decision to tap phones. Point number one. 9,000 phones and 500 email accounts were watched under the UPA. There are Ministry of Home Affairs responses on the floor of Parliament during the Congress period 2013. And Salman Khurshid, then Minister of External Affairs, had actually defended the NSA's snooping charges. I think they need to take a very long and hard look at the mirror, ladies and gentlemen. On debate number 2 tonight, the story which Bollywood is surprisingly very quiet on. Extremely quiet. The fact that there appears to be a quote-unquote industry of pornography which is proliferating, and that some very well-known names are associated with it. Much is being discussed after the arrest of Raj Kundra, and it is believed that there are many devious ways in which this industry, the pornography industry, is avoiding the law. Much more on this and the silence of a few on the other side. Don't go away.